Hello, and thank you for joining us today on Candidly Speaking with Chelle and Kelle. I'm Kelle.
I'm Chelle.
And we're super happy you're here with us tonight.
We are going to have an absolutely amazing show with an absolutely amazing woman as our guest. I've been looking forward to this all week.
Me too.
Since
I booked it, I'm like, ugh.
I know. Pretty cool. So I'm going to say now, you always had a little conversation, prior to the show. I can tell about the lip liner now.
You can?
Yeah, I can tell. Yeah.
This is it.
I like it. What kind?
JCA liner. It's a person I met on Clubhouse.
That's right. I remember you talking about it.
Mm-hmm. But wait, before we do any of our nitty-gritty stuff, I have to do something that I didn't even tell you I was going to do.
Well,
and I guess when your co-host says, I didn't tell you I was going to do this, you would normally be scared. But don't. Because today is my best friend in the whole wide world's birthday. And we've been friends. I'm going to date myself, even though I don't look it. We've been friends 44 years. So I want to wish my bestie the happiest birthday ever. I love you.
Well, yay. Happy birthday.
I know. She's amazing. I can't believe we've been friends since 7th grade.
7th grade. See, I was going to say in the womb, 44 years.
Just about. Okay. You can do your spiel. I'll do my spiel.
Well, my spiel is just, we are so glad that you are here with us. Please let us know that you're here by checking in the comment section. Let us know where you're from. And if you're watching the replay, do the same thing. Just put #replay.
Perfect. And I would also like to talk about our 2 sponsors tonight. The first one is Blue Sky Video Productions. Bruce Himmelblau is our producer and the main man that makes the 2 of us girls look good.
That is right.
Yes. If you need a YouTube strategist or live stream producer, be sure to contact him or contact one of us, and we'll get you in contact with him. And the second sponsor is Cards That Wow. And I create unique handmade branded cards that when your clients open them, they say wow, and they remember you, and you stand out above all the others. So thank you. And let's get going on this. Let's not keep her waiting.
Let's not. And hey to Randy and hey to Kara.
Hi, Kara. Hi, Randy.
Well, Jill.
Hi.
Apparently you need no introduction. I was going to introduce you. This is the amazing, incredible, phenomenal Jill Walls that we are so pumped to have here. Jill, welcome.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be with you both.
Yeah, I'm sure most people watching know exactly who you are, but I did want to let everybody know. Jill is president of Client Solutions Innovations, and she is Ken Wall's better half. Those of you who may be familiar with Ken Walls, he is a live streaming and social media guru, and they make just truly an unstoppable team. So welcome, Jill. Thanks for being here with us.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So I think it was a month ago, I talked to you, Michelle, and I said, let's do a show about the great women behind the men. And then we both said, no, they're not behind the men.
That's right.
They're side by side, and some of them are way ahead of them. So
Theirs were mine.
Yes. But yeah, there's incredible women, and I think you guys kind of get not overlooked, but I just thought it would be so fun to hear, your life, what it's like to be a power couple.
Yeah, well, honestly, it doesn't really feel like that. We're very fortunate that we have different strengths. Mm-hmm. And I think that allows us to work well together. Now, working in the same business with your spouse is not always easy. It can be challenging. But, in all honesty, I spent about 20 years of my career in corporate America, climbing the corporate ladder. I was vice president of marketing for a couple of pretty big international companies and was the spokesperson and was out front a lot. And so I'm kind of happy to, now that I'm a mom, and I didn't become a mom until I was almost 42, I'm happy to just kind of let him be out there and push that our brand that way, because then I can kind of do what I do and have more time to be creative and strategic, those are my areas of expertise. So it works out.
So,
hey, JR.
Oh, hey. And you all, I can't see. I apologize. I see that somebody wrote.
Oh, I forget. I have to read it.
Well, so Jill, what made you go? Because I know you had some amazing positions in the past. So what was your jumping off point to say, hey, we're going to do this. We're going to do this together. I mean, was Ken already established when you decided to make that move, or?
Well, it's funny because back in 2008, the company I was with was being sold. And so our entire department actually ended up kind of being just released. Our department didn't exist anymore.
I've been through that. That was a fun day.
I think everybody went through that in 2008 on some level, right? So, or at least a lot of people anyway. So I was out on my own and I was working with some pretty big clients and doing well. And one of my clients needed a website. And I, at that point, didn't do websites. So a mutual friend said, hey, I know a guy that develops websites. Let's have a meeting with him. And so we met with, it was Ken. So we met with Ken and we left that meeting and I'm like, I am not hiring that guy to build a website. He's our competition. I'm so not doing that. I'll figure something out, but I'm not hiring Ken to do a website. He thinks he does marketing and that's what we do. So that makes no sense. Well, so it turns out she had more conversations with him on the side and he said, hey, I'm not really doing marketing. I do websites. I really need marketing. Why don't we team up and work together and try to do more together than we could separately? Because for me, I was doing marketing, advertising, PR, strategy, and he was really doing technology, sales, some sales training, and websites. So we started working together, worked with a couple of clients together, and it was just strictly business. And then one night he said, hey, let's go out to dinner. I'll help you with this project if you go to dinner with me. And I'm like, no. And he asked a couple more times and I finally said yes. And that's kind of where it went from there.
Well, I had no idea. I guess I thought you were working in corporate America.
No,
I thought you were
on my own. I was on my own. Girl working for me, and yeah, and so we had two separate entities, and we merged them.
Nice.
So
comment up.
It was a good move. Looks like all the way around.
Yeah, yes, it definitely was, because we got married a year later and had Abigail.
Wow.
He said, go out with me and I'll give you a discount on the website. That's so true.
He must have really liked you because he doesn't give discounts to anybody.
Oh, yes, he does.
Oh, look at that. She begged to go out with him.
Wow.
Oh, boy.
Not true.
No, I want to know, where did he take you?
Where's your first date?
It's so funny. He took me to this really great restaurant and it was like the best first date ever. It really was. It was the best first date ever because we laughed. There was no pressure. We just had fun. And then he tells me, oh, by the way, this is the restaurant where I took my ex-wife for our wedding dinner. And I was like, what? But it didn't matter. It was a great restaurant. We had a great time. It was the best first date ever.
That sounds. I was thinking, look how smooth you are, Ken Walls, except for that comment. But apparently, it all worked out, and here you are.
It did.
However many years later, you've got Abigail, and
11 years later. Yep.
Nice.
And Abigail is 10. So.
We don't have to do any math there.
No.
Well, so that's cool.
Yeah. So what is what keeps you motivated and keeps you going? Because that's a lot to be a mom and a wife and be a president of a business.
It's a lot. I always tell people, never underestimate the value of a consistent paycheck, because building a business and running a business and owning a business is a lot of work. Now, I was in corporate retail for quite a while, and that means that you work a lot. Well, I work now way more than I ever did then. But I always say I was the reluctant entrepreneur, because I was pretty happy in corporate America, and I was very successful in corporate America, and I like structure. So for me, the entrepreneurial aspect was super intriguing, but very scary. And where Ken is fearless, he is a natural entrepreneur. He's a natural relationship builder. He is a natural networker. He's a natural salesman. All of these things came natural for him, whereas, not so much for me. So for me, in our business, I really focus on structure, process, strategy, creative, all of that. And he is kind of the relationship builder, and he's out front, and he's doing sales and technology, and he's always 3 steps ahead of the game. So that really helps us, in terms of planning and just being able to provide good counsel to our clients.
Wow. Well, it's funny because I was thinking today about the things that I wanted to ask you about, Jill. Mm-hmm. And at the very top of my little list here is like, what's it like working with your husband? You kind of started with that, but I mean, is it obviously you all just get so much done and so much done so well. You're just wildly successful, and so many people can really attribute their success in many ways to you guys and mm-hmm. what you do. But I mean, is it ever just where you think, I'm just going to, and I don't know if do you actually work from your home? Maybe now, certainly with COVID.
Right now, yes. Right now, we absolutely do. He's downstairs and I'm upstairs, and sometimes that's too close. So, it is most of the time, it's great because his strengths are different than my strengths. I like to tell him that he goes out and gets the work and I do all the work. But the reality is, I don't know anybody that works harder than him. He doesn't stop until after midnight. When he's not on with somebody on the phone or helping somebody or training or filming new modules for his course, Grow Live Academy, he is doing his homework, trying to learn more about the next wave of technology that's coming. And so for me, my day-to-day is I'm building websites. I'm a designer. I do strategy. I do all of the things that he's not doing. And so for both of us, it's more than full time. But for me, what gets a little challenging I don't work for you, Ken. I love you dearly, but I don't work for you. If anything, you work for me. But
I saw that come through over here, and I thought, you must not be able to see the comments.
Yeah, that one. That's a guy for you, right there. That's a guy for you.
And he's a comedian on the side.
But I do think it is more challenging for women because for me to take care of the house and the child and the pets and the yard and the grocery shopping and the cooking, plus work a full-time job, it is not easy. And
now you're a teacher as well. Now you're a 5th grade teacher.
Yeah, it's challenging and it's frustrating sometimes and all of that. But at the end of the day, I wouldn't change a thing because all the sacrifices and all the extra work and all the late nights mean that I have been able to be present and there for my daughter the entire 10 years of her life. And there is no way I would trade 1 minute of that. No way.
I would agree with you 100%.
No. My number one job is always mom. That's what comes first. Mm-hmm. Always comes first. She comes first.
And I tell you, 10 years old is such a special time. I put how the memories come up on Facebook. And I shared one yesterday, and it was my daughter and I in Gatlinburg, which is like Smoky Mountains. It's in
Oh
Tennessee.
yeah, we love Gatlinburg. Yep.
Yeah, well, yeah, because that's close enough that you guys can
We
go
drove.
to.
Yeah, we had a dance competition there.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, lots of stuff in Gatlinburg. It's a really cool place, Kellen. I know you've probably never heard of it, but it is wonderful. And it was
I
just
will after August.
Oh, that's right. That's right. But it was just a picture of the two of us, and she was 9 in the picture. And, it came up, and I said, this is one of my favorite photographs ever. And, we were in Gatlinburg, and she was still my little girl. And, people were commenting, my mom was the ringleader, but, what would we give to go back just for one day of 9-year-old Sophia, and she's 18 now.
Oh my gosh, I can definitely wait for that.
It goes like that. And I don't have to tell you that, because I know yesterday Abigail was in diapers, but it seems like when they hit middle school and
high school,
needing you quite so much,
yeah, I don't want to think about
that. In high school, she's a senior. It was literally yesterday.
Yeah, I can wait for that.
Yeah. I recommend it.
But it's cool because you see them developing, into, not that they don't have a personality at 10, of course they do, but you of course love them with all your heart, but you see them developing into just this really cool person, this really cool adult, that it's happening. So
yeah,
it's enjoyable, but man, one more day of 9-year-old.
I know, right? I really, Abigail has a very big personality, and she has just such a great heart.
Yeah.
We're incredibly blessed with her. Incredibly blessed. And it's funny because I never really wanted kids. I never really thought about kids because I was always all about my career. Mm-hmm. And I was traveling and I was showing horses, and my life's dream was having horses. And I never had them until I got to be an adult. So I got my first horse when I was 24. Until I was 40, I trained and showed and did the horse thing. And it was all about that for me and work. So when I met Ken, I went out on my own. Everything kind of changed. And when we found out we were having Abigail, I was shocked because I was, 41, almost 41. And I had her 4 days shy of my 42nd birthday. And I remember my doctor saying to me, because, I'm advanced maternal age. So they had me in there twice a week doing these tests, right? Monitoring the heartbeat.
Right.
And he came in and he said, okay. He said, well, let me tell you what's happening here. He said, you're full term. He said, we can either wait and let her come on her own, or I can induce you tomorrow. And I said, I turned 42 in 4 days. I'm having this baby when I'm 41. So let's go tomorrow.
Give her out.
Well, and I don't care, right? So I wanted, hi, Charles. I wanted to have everything planned. I wanted to know the sex. We had everything all done way ahead of time. So I knew that if they induced, I didn't really think about some of the things that I would think of now. But from my perspective at that time, okay, I know I'm going to go in at 7. I know who my nurse is going to be. I know I took my essential oils. I was all ready. Here we go. And 12 hours later, there she was. So it was a difficult delivery, but my pregnancy was perfect because I felt nauseous one afternoon and that was it. Wow. I did a grand opening for a big retailer 3 days before I had her, and I was on my feet for almost 12 hours.
Oh, girl!
And I had media everywhere, and I literally worked until the day I had her.
You are truly a super Jill.
Well, I was blessed for sure. I was super blessed in a lot of ways.
Wow, because I was so tired. I was 35 with Sophia. Mm-hmm. And I had been 28 really with Parker. And it was night and day just in the difference of my level of energy. I mean, mm-hmm. I was painting a ceiling with my dad. I didn't know I was pregnant with Sophia yet. And I was like, Dad, I'm tired. I need to lay down. They were redoing some rental property. And he said, well, honey, go lay down. And I lay down right there and on the floor and went to sleep. That was 35. I don't know how you did it. Good for you.
Well, I'm a very naturally high energy person. Like I'm caffeine free, and I don't need that's just who I am. So I think that, and the fact that, was I a Girl Scout? Yes, I was a Girl Scout for a long time, and my mother was the leader. So we had all the cookie boxes in our garage.
Wow.
Yeah, funny, Joe. Hi, Joe.
But you do have to have a plan. I like that too. I wanted, her valances were monogrammed with her name and her, her monogram, because I had to have all that ready. I had to know. I don't know how people.
Yeah.
How can you wait for a surprise? How can it be a surprise?
To me, it's just a surprise. It's when you do the ultrasound.
Or when it comes out with red hair, that's a surprise.
Yeah, right.
It's not red hair,
Right. Well, and I completely respect the people that don't want to know ahead of time. I'm just too much of a planner. Like, we went to Disney when Abigail turned 4 because Frozen had just come out. And I literally, I spent weeks. I mean, we were down to how we were going to go through the park and when we were going to stop, because it was July and I had a 4-year-old with a stroller. Mm-hmm. So there was no crisscrossing the park. I had everything mapped out, and it was perfection. So if anybody needs help planning a Disney trip, I gotcha. Because
girl.
now I have a Harry Potter fanatic. Abigail is in love with the whole Harry Potter. And so now I'm starting to plan a trip to Universal. So I'm starting all again with the whole Universal, and I'm going to do the same thing, because for me, not that I don't like being spontaneous, but there were certain things that we wanted to make sure we could do. And it went like clockwork, man. And there was no stress, and there was nobody got overheated, and we walked 10 miles a day. So it worked out. So that's just who I am, though. I'm a planner, and I like to do things that way. But, I admire the people that don't plan anything and they just say, I'm just going to go, and what happens, happens. I'm like, rock on. That's great.
But, crazy. From a business standpoint, when you're laying out that kind of money for a vacation, you want to be able to hit you're spot on with that, because you want to be able to make sure you hit every one of those things that's on everybody's list, and without dying or killing yourself doing it. So you're a genius.
Well, I just did, I wanted it, by the time we got there, I wanted it to just be fun.
Yeah.
I didn't want to have to worry about, and I guess that's the way I kind of approach everything, is when people are trying to build their business, just like we're trying to build our business, you got to have a plan, right? There's got to be some strategy. And so whether I'm designing a website or I'm helping somebody, coaching them with marketing or PR or something, there's 3 litmus tests for me. And number 1 is you got to think from the end, right? Mm-hmm. If you're looking at what does the customer want or need from you in order to take the next step, right? So whether that means making a phone call, setting up an appointment, filling out a form, or making a purchase, you gotta give the customer what they want and need from you to take that next step. The second thing is the meat is in the message, right? Your words are really important. I'm a writer, and so a lot of times I will sit in front of something and go back to it and go back to it and go back to it, because I understand that the words are important. So the meat is in the message. And then the third thing is strategy drives creative. To just there's no such thing in marketing anymore as just throwing something like spaghetti against the wall and seeing what sticks. We don't have to do that anymore. Mm-hmm. Not only do you not have to waste money trying things, but now we have the ability to so specifically target that there's very little waste. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't mean that you don't still try different things, but you try it with data behind it. Right. So, that's just kind of how I approach life. I approach business, and it keeps me somewhat sane. Not always sane, but somewhat sane. Right. That's exactly right, Joe.
Good, Joe.
Right.
Here, let me read it from Michelle.
I can read that. I can read it after it got big over here.
Okay.
Corey Calvin is a rock star. Anybody wants to know about real estate, Corey Calvin is your man, boy.
Man.
He's a rock star.
He was on my show Tuesday, my Ignite Your Wow show, and he's just wow. I mean, that's the best way to describe him.
He is awesome.
He was. Well, so does your daughter want to join the family empire?
I think she wants to be in movies, and she's a competitive dancer and a gymnast, and she's like me. She's got a lot of energy. She has 2 speeds, stop and go. So, for her, it's all about making sure that she's healthy and she's balanced and she's happy. So, we try to eat very clean, very little processed food. My biggest problem is I eat late and I sit at my desk all day. And so that is a real problem. And one of my goals for this year is to take better care of myself, which means getting to the doctor and doing checkups and getting the dentist more often and just making sure I get up and move. We got a Peloton bike. And so, it's those kind of things to not only be healthy for me, but to be healthy for her and to keep up with her, because she's got a lot of aspirations. She's already done her goals for 2021 and they're up on her mirror in her bathroom, and there's like 8 or 9 of them. And so she's very self-motivated. She's smart. She's never met a stranger. And all of these things, I look at her and I think, wow, like she's already so far ahead of the game, and she understands from watching us and how we work and the way we work that there's no free rides. It's you got to work hard. And it's neat because her dance studio in Delaware, where she dances, they have something up on the wall that says hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. And I think that is a really important quote. And I keep that in mind. And we say that to each other a lot, that it's great if you're talented. It's great if you're a planner or whatever. But if you're not willing to work hard, it doesn't matter how talented you are.
Right.
That same quote is in my daughter's room.
Is it?
Under a Michael Jordan quote. So yeah.
And nothing is by coincidence. It's funny when Abigail has a real sensitive stomach, and she and Ken are both lactose intolerant. And I make these smoothies every day. And I make these organic smoothies, and they have apple, orange, pineapple, kale, parsley, broccoli, organic ginger root, and raw organic turmeric root. And then I put in a little bit of raw local honey, and I put in some organic ground flaxseed. And we drink that every morning. And it's funny, when we don't do that, we can all see a difference. So it's amazing. It's amazing what you can do and how you can make yourself sharper and just be able to be that in tune with what can help you, So I don't do everything right. I make tons of mistakes every day, but I try to at least be consistent with a few things, so that the things that I make mistakes on, I can feel like I haven't totally fallen off the wagon of reasonableness.
Oh, gee, you're amazing.
Yeah, and what a role model.
I did.
I just know that it's just me and my mom and my daughter, and I have a business like you. I take care of my daughter, which I don't have to homeschool because she's high school.
Yeah.
Cook, clean, and I'm having trouble. I can only imagine. I just listened to your list of your day, and I'm like, I'm so tired. I'm so tired. Yeah. That's amazing. You're an amazing woman.
You know what? I'm not doing anything that every other woman isn't doing. We're all in the same boat. We're all juggling a lot of balls, And, during this whole quarantine thing, the one thing I will say, other than the fact that I need to lose weight, because sitting around and not being able to go to the gym and just being busy, has really not been great for me psychologically or physically. But I will say this, we have to be careful, because as women, we take on, right? And like, nobody can do it as well as we can do it. And a lot of times if we do that, then they're not willing to do it. But what I have found is, in all of this quarantine and being home, like, I got to the point where it didn't bother me to not go out for days. I was at my computer, I was working, I had Abigail here. And that's what I found I tend to do. If things are getting crazy out there, I cocoon. Mm-hmm. And that isn't necessarily good. And I'm not quite there yet, and feeling like I want to be out, not because I'm scared of the coronavirus, because I'm totally not, but it's just now that I'm so used to being home and in a space where everything is kind of controlled and in its spot, and Abigail's here, and it's like, now I have to get myself into a different mindset of, we need to get back out. We need to get back out and start connecting individually and personally with each other, and connecting and getting back out in the world and getting our businesses back open and getting back to life, because I think we're really losing something. I know I've lost something, and I'm not quite sure yet how to get it back. So I think like what you're doing here with Candidly Speaking, and having a forum and a place for people to share and connect is so vitally important right now, because we've just really been lacking that in the last several months.
Boy, I agree. It's too easy for me to just stay home now. I mean, I'll put off going to the grocery store for days, and then finally my mom's like, you need to get milk. I'm like, okay, fine. Milk is overrated. But no, it's just,
I go to the grocery store a lot, but that's, sometimes the only place I go.
Well, that's pretty much it for me. And it's just, but it's getting easier and easier. I understand what you're saying, just to stay home.
Yeah. And that's scary a little
bit.
It is. Yeah. Because that's not my natural. I'm naturally very like social and, but like, I don't know. I just don't want to do it. I don't want to go out. And it has nothing to do with the coronavirus. It really doesn't. Now it's about me and how that is all affected, who I am. And it's a little frightening, actually.
Mm-hmm. Are you noticing, and I know I've talked about your daughter a lot, but are you noticing that with her? And here's what I mean by that. Sophia will see an image. She'll look at a picture, something like a concert or something like that. And she will say out loud, there's a lot of people, because this is in 10 years, last March, that's a long time. She did her second semester of senior year and graduated in this house. And, it's almost, I don't want to say unnerving, because that may be too strong a word, but when she sees all of those people huddled together, she's like, oh, look at all those people.
Yeah.
So
I think in some way, we're changed for the long term.
Yeah, I do too.
And I think in some ways, it's not good.
Yeah.
In some ways it is, in terms of washing your hands and being in tune with, being good hygiene and all that.
But she was, like I said, kind of, and there was a picture, it's on my Facebook page. It's a picture of me and several of my friends were at our homecoming bonfire senior year of high school. And we're, how you are, somebody's taking, of course it would have been a camera back then, certainly not a phone, but, all piled in together. And she was like, look at you all. And I'm like, oh, that's the way it's supposed to be.
That's right. Yeah, I think this has been hard on our kids.
I was like, did you notice, has Abigail been depressed or anything like that?
I wouldn't say she's been depressed because she has been going to dance. And even though dance you have to social distance and you have to wear a mask, I put her in gymnastics at a local gym here back in the summer, in early July, because I needed her to be able to go do something and feel normal, right? So she goes to the gym and she does gymnastics every week, and they don't wear masks. And they're using the equipment because you can't wear masks and do gymnastics, but they're using all the equipment. They're encouraging each other. The people that own the gym are very cautious that the teachers are wearing masks, but the kids are just doing their thing. They're using the equipment, and the camaraderie is there, and it's a sense of normalcy. And that has been so incredibly important, because what I'm finding is that Abigail is so attached to me now, because she's never not with me, that there is a little bit more separation anxiety there than I would like. And I think every kid is going through and handling this whole situation a little bit differently. And I feel like it's my job as a parent to identify the areas of need for my child and figure out how to address those and help her through that. And for us, it was gymnastics. So I want you to let her do that as long as she wants to do it.
Yeah, Emily plays basketball. I think I talked to you about that before. And it's lockdown. There's no basketball. That we were having practices for a while, and they didn't have to wear masks, but they just did drills, no contact or scrimmaging. And she's really gotten into a funk because she can't play basketball. This is her senior year, and there's no prom, there's no homecoming. I mean, I just feel so bad for all the kids that are missing out on the rituals of growing up. And
that's right.
It's just
Abigail won't get a clap out for elementary school because
and
it's hard too, because I think it's funny to hear how different it is in different places, because Abigail is dancing at her dance studio, but they have to wear masks and they have to dance in 6-foot boxes, and you've got all of this, but yet the high school kids, the boys, are wrestling. So it's just a lot of craziness, honestly. It's just everything is just, everybody's navigating it in their own way. And when people ask me how I feel about it, my response is always the same. What's right for you is what's right.
Just be grateful she doesn't want to wrestle.
That's right.
Really? One of the things I know with me, one of the things that I have been exposed to really for the first time since COVID started is all of the social platforms. Not that I wasn't on them before, but if you had told me, Jill, at the beginning last March that we would be doing this right now, I would have never believed you. I hadn't done a Facebook Live, so
good for you.
Exploded. It has exploded, and I know that's part of your livelihood.
Yes.
So there have certainly been some positive things.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Have you seen? Has your business noticed that? I mean, have you?
Yes, 100%. And I think anybody that has a business or even works for a company in sales or whatever, especially if you're in network marketing, live streaming and using social media tools that are available for you basically for free. If you know how to do it correctly, you can't lose.
Right.
Like Ken has, and Kellen, and that Ken's got the Grow Live Academy, and he teaches people how to live stream and how to use social media to build their business. The reality is this: these are free tools. And like you mentioned earlier, Clubhouse. Now Clubhouse is shaking things up and changing things again. Technology moves so quickly that if you understand how to use it, and tools like StreamYard, like you're using here, if people understand what they need and how to use these tools, it can change the game forever for your business. And so I think from that perspective, now is the greatest time in history to start a business, to be an entrepreneur, because everything is laying right there for you. All you have to do is know what it is, understand how to use it, and use it correctly. And the sky's the limit.
I'm living proof of that. I started a business during the pandemic.
Planning.
Oh, look.
Yeah, she did. So, Jill, let me ask you this. If, let's say you started your business Monday, as far as the social aspect, where would you suggest that someone start? Because it can be so daunting and overwhelming. If you look, you're like, well, there's Clubhouse, there's LinkedIn, there's Facebook, there's Instagram. Well, I don't know what to do first.
Right.
Any thoughts on that?
There's no easy answer to that except to say all of them.
Or get some coaching on, with your specific business, what you should do first. That's what I would say is, have somebody knowledgeable coach you. Well, and that's what you do, right?
Yes. You know what? And Channing is exactly right. The key is knowing how to use it correctly and your content, right? So everybody wants to get on and they want to sell. They want to, like, LinkedIn. LinkedIn is fantastic. If you are B2B, or you're trying to connect with people in the corporate world, LinkedIn is fantastic because the organic reach there is much higher than like a Facebook. So LinkedIn is a tremendous opportunity. Clubhouse is a tremendous opportunity. What Ken does is Ken looks at everything and says, okay, you need to have a presence in all of these different areas, right? But your content can't just be about, here's my product, buy it. Here's my product, buy it. It's kind of like what Gary Vee says, jab, 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 right hook, right? So give, then ask. And what I think Ken does so well is that he is a giver. He is all about providing value. And so if you're starting a business right now, let's say you're starting a business today, you need to be on all the social platforms, but you need to do your homework and understand who the audience is on each of those platforms and how you can provide them value. Because what you should not do is do one little post and post it on every social media platform and expect to have success. It just doesn't work that way. Because
they need to be strategic.
What?
They need to be strategic.
They need to be strategic. You need to understand who your customer is and understand who the audience is on each of those platforms. And when you get on and do a live streaming is incredibly important. Now, Clubhouse is incredibly important. When you get on and do a live stream, make sure that you're adding value. Provide value. Don't sell anything. Provide value. Because who was it? Zig Ziglar said, if you help enough other people get what they want, you're going to get what you want. And so I think people underestimate that because I think people are overzealous and they think, I've got to get out there, and I've got to get my product and features and benefits and all of that. But you have to remember that when you're starting a business, when you own a business and when you're operating a business, you're solving other people's problems. You're providing value. And so I would say Channing is absolutely right. Just do it. Get started and get out there and be present and start adding value. Yeah, that's right. He's right. You can't always be in selling mode. But there's never been a better opportunity than right now because it's all there for you and they're free tools to use. You just have to make sure that, not to pitch Grow Live Academy, but whether it's Grow Live Academy or even the starter course, and Ken does free training too. Understand how to use these tools because using them correctly, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So just make sure you do your homework.
Well, it's just circling back to what you said, going to for your Disney trip.
Mhm.
Don't fly by the seat of your pants. You can't
Right.
afford to do that.
Right.
Be strategic, have your plan, have it mapped out, and then go.
Right.
But you have to go.
Right.
Don't spend all of your time mapping out and planning.
Right.
You have to
Exactly.
take that
That's
leap.
right. You got to take action, right?
Right.
It's all
It's like
about
learning and reading all these books and then not doing anything with it.
Right.
Right. And that's, you know what, in all honesty, that's an easy trap to fall into.
Oh yeah.
And it's not that it's really a trap. I applaud people for wanting to be prepared, but at some point, I think Ray Higdon said it's analysis paralysis, right? You can't be so worried to take action that you don't take action.
Right.
So it's a fine line. You got to be prepared, but you got to be willing to put yourself out there too.
That's right. That's right. Have the plan. Well,
I had to mute because my dog's barking.
uh-oh. I thought you would think that I would learn to turn my phone off or silence it.
Yeah, well,
So
I put him out there so that no, never mind. Jill, what's your? do you have any more questions, Michelle?
my standard question that I always
Wait,
like to
let me
ask.
do it. I just want to ask, what is your favorite creative? What you like to do the most? Is it the building the websites? Is it the logo design, the coaching?
For me, after being in corporate America for 20 years and now I'm really, really dating myself. I guess it wasn't quite 20 years, not quite 20 years, but now being an entrepreneur for 11 years, I would say that probably the most fun thing for me is working with a client and helping them understand what their opportunities are. Because one thing I find about business owners is that when you're in it, knee deep, eye deep, sometimes it's hard to be objective about it. Mm-hmm. And so while I love designing websites and logos and doing marketing plans and helping people with marketing and writing and all of that, I love doing all of that. What is most fun for me is to sit down with a business owner and to say, did you think about this? Or if this is your challenge, what about this? And helping them understand their umbrella brand, and maybe they're doing this, but did you think that maybe you could do this and this and this and this that could be separate additional revenue streams that can all feed up into your umbrella brand? That for me is what's most fun.
That's cool. Thank you.
Oh, thanks, Channing.
Aw.
Love Channing.
So Michelle,
yeah,
you're on.
I don't know how how this became our traditional question, but we are unscripted girl talk. Jill, what type moisturizer do you use?
Well, I use, as you can see, my forehead. I honestly, this dermatology, I'm pretty fanatical about my skin just because it's not been great, but my whole life I've struggled with it. But I would say when I use Neutrogena to wash my face, but then when I get out, I either use The Ordinary's natural moisturizing factors with hyaluronic acid. But first I use that Dermatology needleless serum. I do use that. And I use a vitamin C. And then I use The Ordinary's natural moisturizing factors, because I don't like to use things with a lot of chemicals in them. Yeah. And so I try to stick to our cleaning products being chemical free, our skincare being chemical free, our food being chemical free, because my brother has cancer and has had cancer on and off since he was a child. And so I believe, this is just my research, and I research everything because that's what I do. I believe there's a genetic component and there's an environmental component. And while I can't control the genetic component, I can control the environmental component. So I do that to the best of my ability. So I'm one of those wacky people in the grocery store turning things over and reading the label. And if there's a bunch of things in there I can't pronounce, it's a no-go for me. So
that's fantastic. That is what
Mhm.
I'm always searching for the perfect moisturizer. That's kind
well,
of
it's funny. I will say this. I don't wear foundation. I haven't worn foundation in years. Now, I did try that. Thrive Cosmetics has a blendable blur. It's not a tinted moisturizer, but it's a BB cream or something. I tried that and it was just a little bit heavy, but for 10 years, I have used Origins has a tinted moisturizer that when it comes out, it's white. But then when you put it on your face, it kind of, it adjusts to your skin tone and it kind of evens things out a little bit. And I have tried probably 7 or 8 other tinted moisturizers, including the one from Dermatology. And I just haven't found anything that I think works as well as Origins. And it's their mangosteen, their ginseng, it's in an orange tube, and it's their tinted moisturizer, and it's white. And I go try something else, but I always go back to it because it does give you a little bit of coverage. But I'm not a big makeup wearer, so I find that works best for me. And it's got a built-in sunscreen of 40 in it, which sunscreen is so important. And so that's kind of my holy grail product.
Wow.
But you tickle me because you do what I do. You say, I love it, but then I always try this other stuff. I do that too.
Yeah.
I don't know why we do. It's like, I love this. I've used this for years. But let me try that. I go in Sephora, my head explodes. I mean, it's
yeah. It's like
I can't get out of there for under 300.
Like, what can I do to get rid of these?
Me too. And that is hereditary. And I have talked about this on this show before. But you can plant stuff in these wrinkles. I mean,
mine are better than yours.
No.
Mine are like right here and here. That's crazy. Who gets a wrinkle there?
I think a lot of that's from the way you sleep.
I just bought my first silk pillowcase.
Oh, those are wonderful. Those are wonderful.
I haven't used it yet. I just bought it and I just washed it because I have to wash it.
Your head will slide it.
You will like it a lot.
Oh, good.
You will like it a lot.
Though.
Be careful.
Yeah, your head will slide right off.
It's actually kind of true.
You might hurt your neck, so just be cautious, okay?
Okay.
They are quite slippery.
Yeah, I'm excited to try it though. Because I'm a side sleeper, so I'm like I watch Dr. Dre on YouTube, the dermatologist, and so I'm trying to train myself to sleep on my back, and I'm got a silk pillowcase. So I'm like, because I'm just not going to do the whole injectables and all of that. I think it's great the people that do that, and I wish I had the oomph to do that, but I'm just a chicken.
Yeah, I've not done that either. I've thought about it, but I don't know.
Never say never, but it's not for me right now.
Well, you're a youngin' though, Jill.
You're a youngster.
I'm 52. So
you're younger than everyone else on this screen.
Well, you all look great. I would never guess it. I would figure that you guys were younger than me. So
I wish. Oh, to be 32 again.
To be 52 again. Yeah.
To be 52. No, 32 is a good year. I like that year.
Girls. I'm 52 with a 10-year-old. So keep that in perspective. I'm going to keep getting more wrinkles, I think.
Oh my gosh.
They'll be fun though. Think about how much fun you're having, creating.
I am. She is the greatest gift and the biggest blessing. I talk about answered prayer. Like, I never thought much about having children, but God has blessed me in so many ways. I have an amazing family. I have a wonderful daughter. We have a thriving business. My husband works harder than anybody I know, even me, which is, I know I'm a hard worker because my parents taught me, my dad specifically. I'm a chip off the old block, and he said, never do anything half-assed.
Yeah.
And so, it's always in my mind. And I'm just beyond blessed, beyond blessed.
We are so happy tonight.
Yeah, and so happy that you were here. Is there anything that you would like to leave us with, Jill?
I think if there's anything, I think we just need to be kind to each other. You know, I had to kind of take a little bit of a break from Facebook because it was just getting a little too toxic for me. And, you know, I think my philosophy is whatever's right for you is what's right. And it's God's job to judge, not my job. But we should be respectful of each other and kind to each other. And if I think different than you or I believe different than you, that's okay. The world is full of, God didn't make any of us the same for a reason. Mm-hmm. And I think all this nastiness with, you don't believe like me, so you're wrong, or not, you know, I finally got to the point where I was tired of seeing all these people say, I'm all about kindness and inclusion, and then being nasty and intolerant. Don't say you're tolerant if you're not. So
don't be a hypocrite.
Yeah, I had to stop there. So I think if we're kind to each other and respectful of the fact that God made us all different for a reason, and I love the fact, I may not agree with you, but I respect the fact that you have points of view that maybe I can learn from. I may still not agree with you, but I can respect you enough as a human being. And just because you may think or believe different than me doesn't mean we can't be friends. So that's what I hope for going forward, is that we're able to find some common ground in our humanity.
Well said.
That is a lovely note to end on, Jill.
Thanks, Charles. Cheers.
To you. Aw, thanks, Charles. Thank you so much for being here. And
thank you, lovely
comments tonight, and I can't wait till I can see them.
I had such a great time, and thank you everybody for getting on. David Anthony, all the way from England.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, it's getting pretty late over there.
A lot of really, really great people on the show. You've got a great audience. You have a great show. Thank you so much. I'm honored to have been asked to be on your show. Thank you so much for including me.
We are honored as well.
We are the one who's honored.
Yeah.
So thank you everybody for watching. And let's see, next week we have Sue Lawson, who is our own Bruce Himmelblau's his wife, and she's very famous in video editing and things like that. So that's going to be a lot of fun next week. Yeah. Please remember to subscribe and share if you like what you heard today. And again, thank you, Jill. You are awesome, and I love you even more now.
Oh, thank you both. I appreciate it.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.